Hello there, YouTube. What is going on? Now it's me, Gabriel Nagel here, founder of Weather Buddies Forecasting Central. I hope you all are having a fantastic day, and I hope you guys are enjoying the weather. Here where I live, it's been pretty mild, so we haven't really had our coldest days yet. But this is going to be our second winter weather forecast for 2023-2024. If you guys love the weather-related content, then please subscribe to the YouTube channel, give the video a thumbs up, share with family and friends, and do not forget to ring that bell notification icon for the latest. Also, I have a Discord server that you guys may want to check out, and just another tip I got for you guys. If you do have any questions related to weather that I cannot answer, consult your local NWS, and let's get started with the video. Here we go. Here it is, our preliminary winter weather forecast for 2023-2024, part 2 of 4. Let's get started. So we're going to talk about El Nino first, of course. As you can tell, El Nino has significantly increased, especially in the eastern part of the Pacific Ocean. The Pacific Meridional mode is still showing a little bit in negative. And then just north of that, you got the Pacific North American Oscillation, which is interesting because the last video I think this was all red up here, so this is interesting to see that color and change. But as of right now, El Nino is very strong. It's expected to stay like this until around next spring. So yeah, alright, we're going to move on to the next slide here. And this is the El Nino forecast, La Nina forecast. And as you can tell, it's expected to exceed 100% for the next 3 to 6 months. Look at this, guys. This is insane. I mean, you just don't come across that very much. And then even from beyond that point, it's still going to be around 98%, and then slowly starts to tail off until it get right about, I'd say, late winter, early spring next year. It starts to tail off significantly, and they're kind of showing what looks like a little bit of a La Nina trying to return. That's what the blue bar is. But it's not too significant right now. The red bar, of course, is El Nino, as you guys can see this up here. That's why I have it so big, so you guys can read that. So La Nina, blue means La Nina, green means neutral, and red means El Nino. As of right now, we got a red. I got another forecast just similar to this one that I'm going to display to you guys. This one's not as harsh when it comes to the third and fourth graph bar, but I'll still show you anyways, gives you guys a general idea. Alright, click next. As you can tell, even though like I said, for the first 3 to 6 months are still indicating well above average. It looks like it's going to exceed 100% here, and then it starts to tail off. Now this forecast model does have it a little bit lower than the other model. The other model was showing about 98. This one's probably showing more like a 96. And then it significantly drops off from there, around the late winter, early spring of next year. Again, the color contours here: blue means La Nina, gray means neutral, and red means El Nino. Okay, I just thought I'd reiterate that with you guys. Alright, now we're going to be going on to our El Nino watch. This is for the winter, this is not for the spring. They did downgrade it to an El Nino advisor for the spring. Well, let's go ahead and read this here, if you guys are wondering. My forecast for this winter, for the upcoming winter months, has increased from 95% to 100 due to the fact that's what those models were calling for. El Nino has significantly increased in the forecast models shown in the previous slides. Although next spring, El Nino is expected to downgrade to an El Nino advisory. We could be in for an interesting winter for the U.S. And the reason why I say that is because the northern half of the United States is probably going to be dry again, like usual, and the southern half wet and active. So, but this, when you guys see my forecast, you guys are going to be kind of shocked on how they came out. But I'm going to quickly mention to you guys, my forecasts are based off of several different forecasts. Even a friend of mine showed me some of these forecast models that I applied to my forecast. So, you guys, I'll explain a little bit more to that when we get to that point. But let's go ahead and resume here. So I did a little bit of I put SA and AUS over here, just so I added that in there just so you guys understand this a little bit better, okay? Okay, so over here is Australia. Okay, that's the Australia. And then over here is South America. You are looking down into the ocean. These numbers over here, well, let me circle them actually. These numbers over here are meters. They're represented in meters. So, like this is 50 meters, 100 meters, 150 meters, and so on. So when you're looking down to the ocean along the equator, you're seeing how warm the water is beneath the surface. And as you can tell, well, there's a lot of warm water pretty much at the beneath there. And the stronger part of El Nino is like technically right here. Okay, that's where the strongest part of El Nino. It's like in the 1+2 region, near the 3 region. So yeah, but that's what this is. Again, you're looking down in the ocean. Australia's over here, and South America's over here. Just I added those in there because I know some people are confused by some of these products, and I know they can be a little misunderstanding. So that's the reason why I added those labels in there, just so you guys can see which one they are. Okay. All right. Moving on to the next thing. This here is the Southern Oscillation Index. This one's pretty intuitive. I'll explain it to you guys here in a minute, but first I want to tell you what line is important. Okay. You see this red line right here? This red line. There is another line, but do not pay attention to the yellow line. Only the red line. Okay. Notice how. Okay, the red line is the last 30 days. Notice how it's still in a negative. That means it's still in El Nino conditions. There's El Nino conditions present. Again, this is called the Southern Oscillation Index. This is associated with El Nino. Okay. As you can tell, it's a negative 5.0 or negative 9.05, excuse me, and that's for the 30-day average. Now, why are there two lines here, and why is the red one more important than the yellow one? The red one's more important because it's a shorter term, more up to date line versus the dotted yellow line. So the dotted yellow line is the 90-day average. That is not up to date as much as the red one is. That's why we always have to go by the red one. The 90-day, they only have that one in there just so that way you have a better understanding what it's been like the last 90 days versus the last 30 days. But again, the 30 days is more dominant because it's more up to date and it's excuse me guys, more up to date and it's more accurate compared to the 90-day average. Hopefully that makes sense. I meant to put the current contribution in here, but I forgot to do that, so I do apologize for that inconvenience, guys. I think we're going to be moving on to my forecast. Okay, so here are the NOAA's forecasts. Not much of a change from the last forecast. They're showing pretty much almost the whole northern half of the United States above average, while down here it says equal chances. But my forecast is not calling for equal chances down there. It's more like a below average, which you'll see when I get there. Because the thing with NOAA is they always, I don't know, they don't really show much cold air for their temperature outlook. So yeah, it's pretty frustrating, but that's kind of how NOAA is. Now, time for the precipitation forecast. Again, typical El Nino. Gonna wet across the south and southeast, parts of the northeast as well, and below average across the north and the northwest. That's pretty typical. In this area, I think, okay, so I do know that this precipitation, this above average, is actually not quite, my forecast is a little different. My forecast calls it further to the west. So what you're seeing here is a little off from a typical El Nino year, but generally, yeah, my forecast is going to be a little bit further to the west. So you'll see when we get there, okay? Which we are hitting. Oh, and then there's the CFS. Again, pretty much similar thing. Nice batch of a lot of water, active weather right there in the Ohio Valley and parts of the Mid-Atlantic, and parts of the Southeast and Mid-Atlantic. So it's just above average for Florida, of course. And then, of course, parts of the Southwest and Western coast are going to experience above average. While up here they're not really calling for anything, they're still not calling for a below average. They're not really calling for that yet. That's still up to change, but as of right now, they're not calling for a below average pattern, just calling for normal conditions. So yeah, moving on. This is the CFS's. Now I don't even know why I added this in here, but I did just for the heck of it, and it's just slightly cooler conditions over here in California, parts of the desert Southwest, While most of the middle part of the country is still, let's see, it's about 1.5 degrees to 2.5 degrees above average, which, again, I don't think it's accurate. Maybe up here it's a little bit more, but I call this into question because, again, this particular model is showing pretty much hot all across the U.S., which is I don't think is correct. I do believe probably I think below this line it's going to be below average, and above that line neutral to above average. So yeah. All right, guys. I think we're about to hit my forecasts. All right, here we go. Are you guys ready? All right, let's go. All right. See, this is my temperature outlook, and I'm sorry I didn't offer to put the word temperature outlook up there, but this is my temperature outlook. And as you can tell, for most of the southern half, almost 2/3 of the United States, below average. While most of the northern and northwestern states see above average. I'm not expecting much of a change in between. And if you have noticed, my equal chances or neutral conditions have been completely squeezed in compared to my last forecast. Because I do believe that this below average has expanded a little bit since the last time I did my last winter forecast. So that's the reason why they have expanded. And you're probably wondering, wow, Desert Southwest isn't on this, and so is the Mid-Atlantic. How does that even happen? It's because of El Nino, guys. I know I keep constantly repeating this, but El Nino influences our weather patterns, and especially for the southern half of the United States, big time. So yeah. All right, our next map we're gonna go on is temperature. Actually, I already did temperature. So now we're doing precipitation. This is not the snowfall forecast; it's just precipitation only. Again, below average. You get the idea. General rule of thumb: below average across the north, and above average across the south. I am expecting. I meant to pull this a little bit further north here on the very far northeastern. I meant to put some of this green in the New England states, but I didn't really have any room, so I just put it like this. There is gonna be some. On my overall map, you're gonna see that there's gonna be activity in this little area I just circled. So. Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, so yeah. Anyways, again, below average, or above average across the south, most well above average, that's what I'm calling for, and of course, below average across the north, really extending all the way to Michigan, which is about right from the NOAA's forecast. Alright, we are going to move on to our snowfall forecast. Alright, here it is. Alright, so again, below average across the north, same exact areas. And you're probably asking yourself, why is it well above average to the south? And again, I'm going to explain to you why that is. El Nino. El Nino always has a tendency to make it more active across this area this massive area I just circled. So, now you're looking at California, I'm like, ooh, we're going to get snow in California? Well, not in the lower elevations. Now, you may come across a couple flurries or two this winter, depending on how cold it can get in the southern half of the U.S., especially in California. You could see a couple flurries down there in the Los Angeles area, but in the Sacramento Valley and Central Valley of California, you're not really going to come across very much snow, but especially accumulating type of snows. But you guys may spot flurries. There's a chance that you may spot some flurries this winter because of El Nino, and then of course. Across the northeast and Atlantic, that's where all the nor'easters are going to be. And then you're probably wondering, wait, why is New Mexico and Arizona highlighted? I got that from a couple other different forecasts a friend of mine showed me. He has access to some other forecasts that I don't have access to, that he did show me, and a lot of them were calling for a well above average area for this part of the country, which is where actually I live. So, I'm not, if you think I'm doing wishful thinking forecasts, I'm not. I'm just going off by what I've seen. My friend showed me. He showed me multiple different outlooks in the last couple of weeks, and this is what it's looking like for us in Arizona, parts of Texas too, by the way. So yeah, I'm just disclaiming that because I don't want you guys thinking, oh, he's doing, So yeah. All right, we're moving on to the next forecast here. This is my final forecast. This here is our winter. This is our overall winter weather outlook. We're going to go region by region. I'm not going to go state by state because when I did that the last time I really screwed up. So, alright, so northwest, warm and dry. Parts of the southwest and Intermountain Basin, mild and wet. Parts of the southwest in Arizona, chilly and snowy. Again, I'll explain you why that is. Typical snowfalls in the mountains, of course. That's always there. Cold and snowy in the middle Great Plains. Winter battle zone just to the south. Okay, just to the south of the Great Plains. They're southern Great Plains. And then for Texas all the way to Florida, cool and stormy. Okay. And nor'easters up the east coast, like I was explaining before, because of El Nino. Mild and average snowfall for most of the Midwest and Ohio River Valley. Occasional Arctic blasts in the northern tier of the country. Now, these aren't going to be frequent, but they're going to be a couple, maybe like a few. But they're not going to be frequent, given the fact that it's an El Nino. And then for the far northeast, interior New England, mild. So yeah, that's basically what we are looking at for this winter right now. This is subject to change. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, go and consult your local NWS for the best results, because this is just educational purposes. Not educational, entertainment purposes. But if you guys do love my weather-related content, this is my last slide, by the way. If you guys love it, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, give the video a thumbs up, share with family and friends. Do not forget to ring the bell notification icon for the latest. And feel free to join my Discord server. It'll be in the description of this video and it'll be in the comments. Alright, you guys have a good day. We'll talk to you later.